let's get to the Here We Stand album. Now, you started work on this album last November, and considering the sudden leap in the fame and the fortune stakes, was there reservations in going in to record this album? Were there pressures based on the successes of the first album? How'd you go about recording the Here We Stand album?
It was more desperation than any reservations. For me personally, there was a lot about the first album that I wasn't that happy about, and I've since had a really long conversation with Hoffer about it. Yeah. He phoned me in the desert, actually. The guy who made the album, who I really do like and think he does good work, he sort of, there's a bunch of interviews where I've sort of said, I wasn't really into the first album. And we were in the desert recording the video for the next single, and the phone went, and it was him. Hey John, I got a bunch of these articles. What the fuck's going on, man? What it is it just wasn't. It didn't really sound like us, I don't think. In a lot of places, it still sounds great, but didn't sound like us. So personally, I was desperate to quickly get out something that was us.
Well, what about the songs? Because John, as a songwriter in the band, did these songs come together in a batch? And then how did you deliver them to the band?
Most of them was in a batch. They all hatched. Over a sort of month, And there's still loads of them that are sitting there that didn't get used, and we use them as B-sides and stuff, I suppose. And then whenever it was decided that was as many songs as you needed to record an album, we started rehearsing, and I gave everybody the songs that I had. And like you were saying, some of them changed a little bit. Some of them kind of stayed pretty much the same. But they never stay totally the same. There's always a difference.
What about when he brings them into you, Barry? Do you sort of kick him around the head with a few of them, or are they winners every time, or there's some that sort of get shelved, never to be heard again?
It changes. I mean, some come in, and the first thing I do when I hear one of John's songs that he brings in is what can I add to it. And a lot of the time, the bass work he does on it will stay the same when I do it, but other times I'll hear it. I don't really think if it's a good or a bad song first. The first thing I try to see is what I can do with it, and then work out whether I like it or not, or whether it's right for us. But I mean, most of the time it's hit after hit. He does write some shite songs sometimes though, but I mean,
yeah, but we wouldn't say that in front of him though.
Nobody's perfect at the end of the day.
Yeah.
When the stuff comes in, it's exciting to see what the band can do with it, and what I can do with it personally and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. So who is Mistress Mabel?
Nobody. She's the worst set of lyrics ever written. It's nobody.
The worst set of lyrics you've ever written, you say, yet it gets picked as the first single. How's that work?
Do you know in life you get regrets?
It's a tough one.
You go, I wish I'd argued this or argued that. We never wanted that song as the first single, ever, anywhere in the world. It was never meant to be a single. It was just meant to be a good track for an album.
And then it comes out as a single. It becomes a hit. 5 years down the track, there's going to be the greatest hits album. You're going to have to put it on there.
I'm not sure it became a hit.
I think we spent a lot of time the first time around saying, well, I'd like that as this single and that as this single and whatnot. Yeah, but at the end of the day, you spend a lot of time debating over that kind of shit with the record companies, the one that you feel as if you must trust them because they've done it a couple of times before. So we kind of left it up to them this time, and they got it horribly wrong.
Definitely, it teaches you not to just leave it to them.
Yeah,
because they don't always. They're good, and our label are good, but you got your own instincts are the one thing you should trust. And then if it goes pear-shaped, it's your fault, and you can't, because it's not nice to be able to turn around and blame somebody. I would rather just blame us. I don't really like having to turn around and say, well, they did get it wrong by putting the wrong single out. At least if it was us. I prefer that. I prefer saying it was us.
I like pointing the finger at other people.
I say I can live with myself if I can.
Well, what about Lookout Sunshine? You're obviously a lot happier with that one.
I thought that should have been a single way back when we did it. I remember being in the studio the day that everything was finished on and thinking, like, if that's everything I would want out of a single, big chorus and a key change. They don't key changes anymore. and it's perfect for the single.
Yeah.